Tell me a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, what have you done so far, who you are, and, what gets you excited about life and everything.
So I'm working in the digital world for already 10 years. I'm a well-known marketer in the Baltics. For the last few years, I was working in a venture capital firm called Startup Highway. It's like a privately held venture capital fund. Also, I run a few digital products in the Baltics. Also, I'm managing director for a barbecue fast food chain, which I think you could know for infamous viral where the Putin kissing Trump. I think you saw that. So yeah, that's our job. And I started hard vertical with my old technical team, and we're here at the moment.
Amazing. So what brought you about to work on the car vertical versus any other type of vertical?
Yeah. So I think probably in July, me and Audrus, one of Car Vertical's co-founders, were discussing what we could bring into the blockchain. We weren't discussing what ICO we should done. We were thinking about how we can utilize, where we can utilize blockchain as a technology. And we both are databases geeks. So we started digging into registries business and splitting such verticals as a land registry, as a lien registry, as a real estate registry, and then started digging how blockchain affected those verticals and those markets. And we found out that in a real estate market, especially in UK, there are good blockchain examples already. So we lived in that idea for I think 3 weeks. We gathered all the possible information about real estate business, and after that we decided that there are too many good teams working already on real estate and blockchain, and somehow we just checked the car history data business, and we couldn't find anyone at that moment. No teams on the world were disrupting that market, the car history registers market. And we came up to this idea. We started programming car history register on the blockchain with IPDBs, big DBs, and etc., utilizing blockchain technology as a data storage. We weren't building our own blockchain. We chose Ethereum blockchain to utilize as a data storage. And we came up that we can build really great car history registry as a solution in 6-8 months. And on top, we started thinking what should monetize products we can put on the top. And Car Vertical was born as a company. So we were developing this solution and preliminary products for already 2 months. And on the beginning of October, we decided to run an ICO campaign on a site.
So have you already run your ICO? Or my understanding was that was coming up, or have you run it already?
No. We started creating ICO campaign on October, and we started developing the first codes, actual line codes were written on the beginning of September, I think. So we started doing just the blockchain company, building it. It was and still is self-funded company. And in October, we brought some up bigger team. We decided what budget in euros we could utilize for running such an ICO campaign, and why not? We chose to run not a standard ICO structure. We chose to run 100 days ICO because we are already developing it, and if our ICO will not be so fast, because everyone is used for a really fast boom 1 week or 2 weeks ICOs. If our ICO won't be such fast, we will show our community that we built something already, and we are building and developing it quite fast, and our community growing is also really fast. I think after tomorrow we will hit 2,000 people on our Telegram. Today, we have already signed actual contract with Diginet. Diginet is the biggest classified group in Baltics. It covers all three states, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. And we have a autoplus.lt. This is really big auto classified. We selling a car every 3 minutes, and we signed a deal that on May we will bring walking white label solution for them.
Okay. So tell me, so we have a model. My company is called Integral. We have this model for like a designed company, and it's made out of 7 components, which is purpose, people, systems, innovation, products, money, and growth. So I'd like to ask you a bunch of questions around that model, just for my, like, every member in this group that we're running on Facebook is potential ICO investor. Some people are very, very smart in terms of working on their own projects as well, but also like very well connected to the rest of the sort of community. So it's important for them to understand how you're thinking in each one of those areas. So let's just ask you, what is the purpose of Car Vertical? What is the purpose? Why should it exist?
There are a few purposes, I think. First of all, that used car market is incredibly big and is getting bigger every year. But car history data on those second-hand cars are really not transparent. It doesn't get... the users don't know the exact history of their car. For example, in Europe, where car usually changes 5 or more owners and even 2 or 3 countries. For example, if a car which is 5 to 7 years old jumps 3 countries, the data of that car won't jump as fast as that asset. So that's the main. And we came to plenty of bigger problems, like all the different European Union and world's data registries are not sharing the data in between because we don't have an actual tool how to share the data. Someone puts a lock and monetizes some parts of the data. Someone makes it public but doesn't know how to build actual working tools to share the data. Plenty of stuff. So in general, the purpose would be, we would like to make car history data more transparent and accessible for a person.
Okay, so it's basically like putting the sort of little car history book into an immutable blockchain so that no one can muck around with that data, and that when the potential purchaser of a car is looking at the car history, they know that's not been tampered with, and no one's kind of gone in there and changed the fact that, oh, I don't know, it's had like new engine put in there, whereas it hasn't really.
Yes, you're right. You are right. But main fraud that is made in car histories is fake odometer readings. So there's a statistics that 31% of all worldwide fleet has fake odometer readings, and it's massive problem for car owners, for insurances, because we doesn't know the actual value and cost of the parts, and etc.
Okay. So that kind of wraps up the purpose quite nicely. I think that's pretty clear and understandable use case there, and a big one. Like I can't remember where, like, Elon Musk was saying there's like 2-3 billion cars on the planet at the moment. So it's like a pretty big data set there to be kind of tailoring to. And obviously, like, the automotive industry is huge and sort of a backbone to society anyway. So tell us, you spoke a little bit about yourself and a couple of your co-founders. Tell us a little bit more about the team and the type of customers that you are looking to tailor to. Who are your customers and who's your team?
So our team is five of our team. Our team at the moment are 13 people. I won't name them all, but I will make a core. Okay, so we have 5 really high-profile developers. Two of them are DevOps plus backend. One is front end, one is full stack, and one is actual blockchain developer. We have 3 business developers, but including me. We have data analysts and some minor positions as a creatives and etc. But what I can speak, when we started this project and we started business developing on the side of actual technical development, we started looking at the actual great automotive guys that could join our team as advisors. So we have really great advisor, John Mack. He's an ex-exec of BMW Group, Fiat Group, General Motors as well. Now he's working in one big group of car parts manufacturers. He's a CEO of few really big factory chains in China. That guy will help us to, for example, to unlock the data sources in China and Germany, because he has really good contacts and network in China. Another one, Steve Chernish. He's a really amazing guy. He joined our advisory board last week. He's a vice president of Russian Dealers Association. So basically, had that guy in his telephone. His cell phone has all the contacts in such countries as Russia, Kazakhstan, and Ukraine. And he knows, he's a real transparent guy. He's like American Jewish who runs the business in the post-Soviet countries, and he's really into tech. So actually, his son works in Deloitte as a technological scout, and he found us and showed for his father. Also today we already have signed contract, but our team of advisors will be joined by the guy who was working as technological engineer in BMW Group for the electrical cars, and he also has big experience working in Mobility Group, the biggest classifieds group in Europe, auto classifieds. So basically, we're building our team of advisors at the moment.
And so, who are your target customers and clients? What's the story there?
So in general, we have 4 products, and they split into both segments, both B2B and both B2C. So for a B2C, our, for example, reports product is for people who want to buy a car and have VIN number of that car and want to get the actual report with the history of that car. Another of our products is white label solution. It's for B2C and B2B as well. In general, it's franchise offer of our services for a guy who, for example, lives in Brazil and wants to run his own car VIN checking business and sell reports of ours. So for such guy who will pay a monthly fee for us, we will provide a whole infrastructure, report generation, the website templates, everything, API calls. He just needs to start local marketing for his website. This white label solution is really interested for auto classified sites as well, because from the business perspective, auto classified website is really polished business. The owners of auto classifieds at the moment, they don't know how to upsell their clients. If they integrate our white label solution, they can start selling the reports for their clients, for the people who putting the listings for their customers. So they actually don't need to make anything. We are making all the service, and we're getting the bigger revenues. First product is API calls. Basically, API access for big companies such as claim handling services and insurances. The 4th product is really interesting product is the ICO part. It's called wallet, and for example, it's mobile application. When I download that application, I make identification with civic technology that I am Rökas Medönis. Then I'm calling application calls to the local, my country's car registry, and states that, for example, I am true owner of Volkswagen Tiguan that I actually own. Then I confirm my identity and ownership of a particular car. Those cars' data will automatically goes to my application, and I start generating the new data timeline. For example, because we have insurances and other companies as our clients, the insurance companies will know when my insurance is going to the end, and for example, they will bid with other insurances to make a best offer for me on that application. Also goes with maintenance, with car maintenance, with oil change, with new tires. Application will know from the workshops that I'm running with the same winter tires for already 2 years and it's unsafe. So basically, on this application, the person who owns this particular car will get all car history, plus he will generate history by itself. And when the time comes to sell the car, he just needs to push the button, and the listing in his country's auto-classified website will be generated automatically with all the car's history, and it's really valuable.
Okay.
So basically, we have 4 products that is both differentiated between B2B and B2C segments.
Okay. And so, in terms of, let's say, a typical, the use case, and moving on to the systems part, how this is going to work. So imagining a typical user, let's say, I'm looking to buy a car, and how do I interact with this system, and how does Car Vertical play into my life? Does it play in any way differently to how I would be buying a car and using a car? Is there some sort of change of behavior that I need to exhibit, or is it literally the blockchain aspect that's the difference here?
I think the main aspect for a car buyer will be in 2 ways. If you are in Western Europe, and maybe you don't have time for car fixing and etc., the Car Vertical will help for customers to avoid cars with hidden bugs, for example. Mm-hmm. But if you are a user and car buyer in European Union 13 countries, Central and Eastern Europe, I think Car Vertical reports will give them leverage on a buyer to get a bigger discount to buy that particular car, because he will have actual data on PDF report to show for a seller or a dealer that car has some bugs. Maybe it will be minor bugs, maybe it will be moderate bugs, but it will be leveraged to get the bigger discount. Okay, every used car has a problems. It's not magic. It's a car and it's a used car. So of course it can have some fixes, but in this case, the buyers will have a leverage. And I think in most cases, the users will start know more than actual seller or a dealer, because dealers doesn't know all the histories of their car, even if they are honest.
So how are you going to get the data onto the blockchain? Is that going to be like done by let's say, I don't know, like recently our car had like a new wheels fitted, okay? Is the proposal here that the mechanics in the mechanic shops will be logging this data into Car Vertical? How is that data going to come into your system?
So basically, to build such a registry, data comes from the really various sources. And I want to state that if you want to win big in data business, the winner isn't that one who owns the biggest amount of different sources. The winner is who can implement the machine learning and make a cross-check between the different data points. So the percents can fluctuate, but in general, around 50% of our data will be scraped from various world's auto-classified websites and auto auctions. Around 20 and 30% of such data will be bought or traded with such registries as insurance companies, claim handling services, and similar. All the open databases will be included into our register as Interpol policies as well. And really nice thing will going to happen in Europe in the May of 2018, because the new regulation of European Union will come in place, which states that every person is the owner of his data. And for example, I can sell my data to Facebook, I can give it free to Google, or just give permission for such service as Car Vertical to take data on my assets or on me and retrieve from various other registries, for example, national registries. So really big part of the data will be taken from the country's national registries on a user's behalf. So basically, we're mixing different sources, and none of those sources is like top one.
Mm-hmm. So tell me then, are you going to be issuing tokens, and what kind of token is it going to be? Is it utility or some other type of token?
So we are 100% utility token, and we actually need it for our business flow, for a healthy business flow. In general, the Car Vertical token will be only currency that our products can bought. If you will come with fiat, we will make a micro transaction on the moment of a conversion, and we'll convert into Car Vertical token. Then the stacking comes in place. For example, if there is our client, the big insurance group, for example, PZU, and if it uses our service buying API calls, that PZU group will be motivated to keep the bigger amount of Car Vertical tokens like stacked, because they will get the bigger discounts compared to buying in fiat. So stacking, that's why we need our utility token. But the biggest value of Car Vertical token comes in wallet product, because the person who uses the wallet application, who again generates the history of his car, will be able to buy insurance or tires or maintenance service in app with our token. And from for example, the service or the product side who are on the wallet product, they will see our application as a marketplace, because the insurances will be making the bidding in our token for an ability to make offer for you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's where comes the ICO part and the utility token part.
So is this blockchain aspect of Car Vertical, is that going to be distributed or centralized? How is that going to work? And what about the mining aspect of it? Is there mining?
No, there is no mining, because we are not building our own blockchain. We are not building our own blockchain. We are utilizing Ethereum blockchain for data storage, and we are really distributing the fixed amount of utility tokens during our ICO, and that's it. None of the tokens could be mined.
Okay. And so moving on to the innovation aspect, what is the true innovative bit here? What's so innovative about Car Vertical?
In general, the machine learning. If you look in a whole car history data business, in all markets, USA, where Latin America, Europe, or Asia, it's really, really fragmented market with really old players, which are technologically old. They could jump higher, but they are not doing it. It's like in every old market, even particularly data markets. None of the old guys, they don't want to make any innovations. So there aren't any simple machine learning in that business at all.
So what is the machine learning thing
Machine learning,
here?
I will, for example, give the most simple example of machine learning. For example, Car Vertical gathers data about Volkswagen Tiguan in 2017 from Netherlands auto auction, which odometer states 150,000 kilometers. After 6 months, the same car appears in Poland, auto-classified, with odometer reading stating 80,000 kilometers. So machine learning can make a cross references between those two data points and flag that probably in 6 months after that car run from auto auction in Netherlands to the Poland classified, the odometer was clogged. And it's the most simple, example for people to understand what is machine learning. It's crossing the data points in between and trying to figure out the answer, what was wrong.
Mm-hmm. And so okay, so that's clear that like machine learning bit using the data to make sure that the actual history of the car is correct and no tampering has been done. That's very cool. So what do you could consider to be your core product then out of this? Is it the API? Is it the data? Is it a particular? You mentioned there's 4 products, but what is the core
thing? Our core product definitely is wallet, because there is no such a product as wallet in the market, and it's like game changer in many markets. For example, Lithuania is really tech-savvy country. It's really small and tech-savvy. We have on our advisory team the Deputy Director of Lithuania National Registry Center, Jonas Udrius, and he is helping to just take the wallet application and try to bring it to the governmental level. As for example, standard in Lithuania is if you to prove to build a proof of concept. It's really easy to be done in such small country as Lithuania, and then, for example, bring it to Poland, where there's 36 million people, or to Germany, to distribute across the European Union.
Mm-hmm.
So wallet has value for both sides, for the user, as a driver, for the insurance company, for the small manufacturer, for a small workshop, and etc. It's like it complies and fulfills all the parts on products and services of all the automotive industry.
So look, I've spent all my life being a user experience designer, and we would basically say that experience is the product. How is the experience of Car Vertical going to be for the end sort of car driver, the person who is not really technical, doesn't really care about this. They care about making sure that they can sell their car for the right price, and that the justice is done to it. But they don't necessarily care about the app so much. They'll only use it if it's nicely designed. Tell me how you're going to ensure the nice user experience of this overall system.
So we have great front-end engineers. We will definitely, our application will be such smooth as a really famous bank application. Revolut is like success swiping, really easy to understand. And in general, our application, when you confirm the ownership of particular car, you can make nothing on that application. You will get the offers, and that's you couldn't not buy it if you not want, but you will keep generating the actual history. We will gathering all the history of your car in your behalf. That's it. And when you decide to sell your car, you just need to come and sell it with a bunch of data. It's like additional value without doing nothing.
Yeah. So the end users, the car owners will have a wallet that will show to them pretty much like every car they've owned over the last bunch of years.
Yes.
And so what about what about cars that are like, what about rental cars and stuff like that? If I go on a holiday for a week, you know, I'm using a rental car, will that be included perhaps? I don't know.
And it's probably not if the rental company will include those cars to our data system. Because for a wallet application, we need to know that particular car belongs to you. And in perspective, it's like the flag that we're giving to your hands at that particular moment when you download a wallet application and confirm your ownership of the car. We're giving you a flag, and when you're selling the car, you're giving that flag to another guy.
This is powerful stuff. This is powerful stuff. So tell us, okay, moving on to the money side of things, you know, how are you going to make money? And, you know, the people that are investing into your ICO, you know, what's in it for them? Let's say I want to be an investor. Why am I investing into Car Vertical? What am I getting out of it? You know, tell us about that.
Yeah, so since our token is utility token, our investors will get only speculative value. We cannot promise, and we are not stating that we pay dividends. We are not security tokens. We are not paying dividends. The actual token has no relation to actual assets or equity of our company. We are not kind of that type of ICO. We're a utility token where the investor gets speculative value in a short term or long term. That's it. We will generate the demand of our utility token on the market really, really fast. Our plan minimum is to enter 4 different European Union markets with repos business in 2018. In the next year, we already have a deal with really big classifieds group for a white label solution. We at the moment are in negotiating with the 2 more big classified groups, one in Germany and one in Australia. So our, you know, in terms of marketing, our marketing and business development at the moment is way, way further of our products, you know. So we are already constructing the actual business deals, and people, the services, the big companies are waiting for our solution. So as a company, we can promise that we will work really hard to increase the demand of Car Vertical token on the market in a really short time.
So do you foresee a future in which Car Vertical tokens are traded on exchanges, for example?
Yes, of course. We will. Our token will appear on exchanges in 6 to 16 weeks after the ICO ends. But that's like safe statement on the white paper. I am personally working with few exchanges at the moment that our token would appear on exchanges after we will hit the soft cap, which is 3,050 Ethereum.
Okay. All right. So that's an interesting then proposition that you're saying very clearly that it's a utility token, and
yes, it
is. There's no mining, and it's a pretty clear use case as to, you know, the car industry and ownership, and you've got a strong team. You're obviously clear guys in terms of the systems and so on, and you know.
Sorry, we are really transparent team. You can check our LinkedIn's. We're quite known guys. All the core developers and business developers in the Baltic startup ecosystem. We run and running other businesses because we're funding this project from our like monthly income, and where the bigger amount of team owns the different businesses of themselves. So we are not like paying the half of our salaries or something.
Mm-hmm. And so that brings us to the last part of the 7-phase model. and it's a statement of growth, aspect of growth. You know, you said yourself that you're a big sort of marketeer. You know, we've been in this game for quite a long time in terms of growing things and making things popular. What's your plan on that front in terms of sales and marketing and growth? How is this going to, you know, blow up, you know, as a very popular thing?
Wait a second, I will just open my sheets, okay, with the permission. So in general, in 5 years from the 2008, we want to be in 40. We have an actual projection, an actual business plan, how in 5 years we will go into 48 different markets with different our products, not with all at the once, but different in one. For example, country can be reports and API, another with white label. Wallet will be everywhere. So 48 markets in 5 years. In 50 years, the revenue that we are projecting is 27,204,000, and we are looking into break even in around 30 months after our revenue starts. And our actual revenue starts in June 2018. So basically, why we chose this approach for ICO, we're stating that we're actually a company which will have actual revenue in first year, because many ICOs are really top-end projects. For me, as a guy who was working and still working as in a venture capital firm, such products that are now in the ICO market, I'm just like killing them. You are just reading the brief and you will say the utopia. You cannot make it in 5 years, even with a good budget.
So tell me, have you got sort of clients lined up for this already? You know, some of the...
Oh, it's you know, it's a big saying. No, we during this ICO campaign, we were spotted by the really different big companies. For example, last week we had a call with Carfax. Carfax is the biggest report selling company, which like is working in this market for already 30 years. The company started in 1984. We're trying to enter the European Union market. We're already in 4 countries. They found us. The head of European Carfax just called us, and we have a really nice discussion about opportunities. You know, so yeah, like everyone in this automotive data industry are spotting us at the moment.
And so the last sort of question I have is, you know, these bunch of last few days, I must admit I played a little bit of CryptoKitties. Don't tell anybody.
You bastard! You like jammed all the Ethereum.
I know. So like, don't tell anyone. And there's an actual real cat. Look, I'm actually a big cat lover, so I'm pretty. It's there was a cat cameo, so this is probably going to turn it into a standard. But the Ethereum platform is running extremely slow at the moment. How do you see, you know, with more and more of these ICOs going live, how do you see your platform actually performing in that practical sense of transactions and, you know, logs?
So our architecture and infrastructure is like not all the 100% of data just straightly pushed into Ethereum, like, wow, it's fully transparent. No, yes, Ethereum network is really nice as an idea, but as a technological, it's in really early days. And the CryptoKitties stated for all the Ethereum community that is also not so scalable as well. So yes, we're aware of that. We are definitely not keeping our old data in the Ethereum blockchain, all the links, and our backend guys are really working with that. But our system would be scalable even in such a situations when the Ethereum network is unscalable and getting the big issues like the CryptoKitties issue.
And so, like, do you see, and this is kind of like, I'm getting a little bit sort of facetious in my questioning a little bit here, but like, what happens, going forward, let's say, a year from now, let's say Ethereum platform is still having these issues and you are growing, you having demand from the customers, from the clients, and they're like, we love this, let's do it, and so on. And if the Ethereum platform cannot handle this sort of demand and throughput, is there any way in which you guys can code this up so that, for example, you can make a shift to like EOS or somewhere else that may be performing better?
Our solution will be scalable and will be shiftable to another blockchain if needed.
Portable.
Yes, it's nice. Because we are only using parts of Ethereum network for data storage.
And so for anybody,
and our token is ERC20 standard. That's it.
So for anybody who invests into your ICO, should you wish to, port to EOS or another kind of Ethereum-like platform, that you will have some sort of means in which to transfer the tokens one for one.
But we're not like discussing this solution at the moment. Like it will be everything good with Ethereum blockchain. Vitalik is working. Everyone is working. There's I think, such a viral products as CryptoKitties will go to other blockchains which are more suitable for them, and they will leave Ethereum blockchain alone. Because in general, the CryptoKitties was a thing that Vitalik asked not to do with the Ethereum network.
All right, so that brings us really to the end of this conversation, because we've covered the purpose, people, systems, innovation, products, money, and growth. Is there anything you would like to, say as a wraparound statement overall? What is it that you need? What are you looking for Car Vertical to go, to the best of its possible successes?
So in general, if someone who watches our conversation is from automotive industry and wants to kick ass of some automotive industry data and help such a data business as ours, please write me Rökas at carvertical.io or join our Telegram channel. And also, for people who are looking for smart investments, who are not looking for easy dividends or just want to contribute into utility token as ours, please come to our ICO, which is on the 26th of December, 6 p.m. London time. We're starting. Token will be distributed via our smart contract, which is already on GitHub. But please be in mind that at the moment, this smart contract is on the independent audit. And carvertical.com. See you on 26th of December.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining this, and very, very competent set of answers there. And when I first saw Car Vertical, I was a little bit like confused, wasn't sure, and then once I dug into it, like it took me like one sort of scroll through the website to go, car history data. That's a good use case. And now having this conversation with you has just kind of made me think, this could be like a really, really cool and also global thing that just kind of standardizes some of this kind of car data. I have a friend who is recently gotten into is like basically opened his own car dealership. So I'm going to be telling him about Car Vertical.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful week.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.